Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Casting the Spotlight episode number 142. And it is again a solo episode after a couple of banger episodes for you. The great Rob Gaither, debuting on the podcast, the 51st guest. And then we followed up with another SummerSlam prediction cast. So that was a good time.
Yeah.
Getting the boys together.
It's quite enjoyable. Always a good time.
But if you haven't been listening, the new segment we introduced, we compare things of any genre necessarily. I mean, we've already done movie characters, or no, we've done TV show characters, but we started off with comedy movies as our random category.
We did
comedy movies first.
Walking Dead characters.
We did Walking Dead characters last. Yeah, we've only done three times of this.
So
this edition.
TV show characters, Walking Dead characters, and
comedy movies.
Yeah.
Tonight we have drawn film trilogies. Now this can be any genre, anything, just 1 through 3, or some version of what the actual true trilogy is. And so that covers a lot of ground. There could be different genres thrown all over the place. So which one of us wants to go first?
Who went first last time? I think I did, right? Or did you?
I don't quite remember.
Dang me. You can go first.
It was Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, well, settling in here, taking the saddle, again with the reins here, in a solo episode form. So, ladies and gentlemen,
it'll be interesting.
Alright, so my main thing that I'm going to compare all the other things to
What do we got?
on film trilogies. Your main is going to be the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Well, damn. You're going to be offended when I pick things over this.
Oh, man. I thought you loved this series.
I do. It's a great series, but
Well,
there's probably going to be things I'd pick over it that you probably wouldn't. You'd be like, what?
But you also don't know what I have.
That's true, too.
So, Lord of the Rings, I mean, I know we had a great fucking time watching them, like, at the apartment and shit. Because it's a legendary trilogy.
A lot of people would rate it as one of, if not the best, film trilogy.
Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting.
Alright, so, first off, the Lord of the Rings trilogy versus Child's Play 1 to 3. That's a weird comparison.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Child's Play movies. I think 2 is actually probably my favorite, but following that up is probably Bride.
Yeah, which
So,
was out of the trilogy.
Yeah, with that in mind, and just with it being the movies they are compared to the blockbusterness of the Lord of the Rings and the spectacle that they were, I'd have to go Lord of the Rings. And I love horror, but the Lord of the Rings is the better trilogy. So.
Oh yeah, I don't think that. And like, unless you're a horror fan that hates action movies for some reason, I can see that. But that's, come on.
If you only watch horror, maybe you would pick Child's Play.
Yeah. So let's go in a different direction here. The Lord of the Rings trilogy versus Clerks 1 through 3.
Oh my god. That's tough, man, because there is a lot of sentimental value with the Clerks movies in our friend group, you know, like we all watched them together and got into them, and we met Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, you know. There's a lot of sentimental value there. So it's like, it's really tough to vote against them, but I think I'd have to say the Lord of the Rings again.
Yeah.
The writing in Clerks is fantastic, for sure. But again, just that adventure, blockbuster, storytelling spectacle that the Lord of the Rings was. Like, there are trilogies I would vote over it, but it was a great trilogy. So
Oh yeah, no, it won like more Academy Awards than like anything fucking else like ever did in like a 3-movie series. I mean, it was incredible. Like, and I think we both, the Hobbits were great and they were enjoyable, but I think we both put easily Lord of the Rings over the Hobbit trilogy.
Yeah,
The Hobbit trilogy is a light, fun, adventurous like touch, and like I did enjoy both of them, but like it felt like fucking Lord of the Rings was like just bloody fucking duels, man, and they weren't really bloody, but they were like brutal, like it felt like it was up a level, like in terms of the violence.
Like, they extended the hell out of that story in The Hobbit to make a trilogy.
They did.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Whereas The Lord of the Rings, it was like book for book. So those movies felt a little bit fuller than a lot of the Hobbits, because the Hobbits felt like they kind of stretched some time out at certain places because there wasn't as much material to go around.
Yeah. Some people argue that even 3 movies for Lord of the Rings 1 through 3, like Fellowship through Return, was almost not enough. Like you could have gotten more mileage out of those, which they did make. They did make, but they also still even making the extendeds left stuff out.
Yeah.
You know.
But I mean, still.
Yeah. But yeah, it got to.
They have
but
their worth in motion pictures.
that being said, I didn't even actually put the Hobbit trilogy on here to put it against, but I figured that's worth it, But it's so good, and like honestly, it does set you up to be more pumped to watch Lord of the Rings too, like afterwards.
Yeah.
But it's a great, like those are phenomenal too. You know what I mean?
Oh.
That whole world was insane. Like it's so cool. All right, so Lord of the Rings is up 2-0, huh?
Yep.
But don't think about the numbers. Think about what you feel when you watch these films. So next up is the Lord of the Rings versus the Indiana Jones trilogy.
Man.
Raiders, Temple, and The Last Crusade.
Those are also childhood specials, because it's just like I watched them with my family growing up and really enjoyed them, and they're like in the truest form. I can't think of another movie, maybe like National Treasures, but Indiana Jones was first, damn it. Like, that are just truly adventure films, like they feel just like blockbuster fun adventure films, and they each kind of have a different setting. I don't know, man. I got a lot of love for the Indiana Jones. I think I'm taking Indiana Jones.
Really?
I think so.
Oh, man. Indiana Jones.
Like, what? But, you know what? That's why it's my opinion and not yours.
The fucking... yeah, some people be like, what the fuck? They'll be like, and what's bullshit is like anybody that bitches about Temple. It's like Temple isn't the reason.
Temple is probably my favorite one.
Yeah, it's not the reason why it fucking. Oh, Last Crusade, then it was up again. No, Temple held it at a high level the whole fucking
better
time.
Than the Last Crusade.
I agree with that for sure. The only one that has I feel like a comparison in a lot of ways because of the legendary status is the original. You know what I mean? So I can see an argument for that, but I honestly do feel like Temple's better than all the rest, besides maybe the original,
Yeah. I don't know. I still have to kind of rewatch this latest one to truly
I actually
know
did.
how I feel about it.
I actually did just
what do you feel
a couple
about
weeks
it?
ago. I liked it. I don't know if I entirely remembered everything that happened in the theaters.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull more than people say that it is.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that's a better Indiana Jones.
Do you like Kingdom more than Last Crusade?
I don't know. I probably wouldn't say that, but
yeah.
I probably
at one time I
did.
did.
I like it more than the latest one. I think upon my first watch of the latest one.
Dude, at one time my order was 2, 4, 2, 4, 1, 3.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, 4 is closer to 3 than I think a lot of people would say. For me. Like, it's not like the original trilogy just blows 4 out of the water, but...
I enjoyed it too.
But yeah. Alright, what do we got next?
So you took Indy.
Yeah.
Okay. The Lord of the Rings trilogy versus Spider-Man 1 to 3. The Tobey Maguire trilogy.
See, I always really liked those movies, but I feel like I wasn't on the level that like you were with them, or like Tyler and Ethan. Like some of our close friends were pretty big into the Spider-Man trilogy, and I did like Tobey Spider. They probably were. He's my favorite Spider-Man still, because he was my childhood Spider-Man, and I watched them all and enjoyed them all. But I would probably have to go Lord of the Rings again.
Lord of the Rings over Spider-Man 1 to 3.
Yeah, I think so. Again, this is personal opinion, folks.
Yeah.
You can have yours too. That's the fun of this game. You get to compare them while listening. What would you pick?
Spider-Man 1 to 3 at Lord of the Rings?
I just mean like for people listening, it's kind of the fun of this segment, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, I would probably take Lord of the Rings if I was asked. It's like Lord of the Rings' worst movie, whatever anybody would say it was, is still definitely better than Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. But it's just...
So it's like...
How much sentimental value and how much
did
you hold your
for
fandom
sure.
in it?
And I love...
Rewatch.
I would take Spider-Man over a lot of trilogies, actually.
Yeah.
But Lord of the Rings isn't one of them.
Yeah.
Because they're legendary, man. They're so good. Okay. So up next, you've already done 4 categories. The Lord of the Rings trilogy versus Scream 1 to 3.
Man, again, because of horror fandom and Scream being one of my favorites here, I literally have rewatched Scream's entire series more than probably any other entire series of movies there is. And I hold a lot of value in those movies, so... And I got the fucking hat on right now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm gonna have to pick Scream.
1 to 3?
I think so, man.
Oh, man.
I think so. Just because I have, like, front to back, I could tell you about every one of those movies more than I could Lord of the Rings, and I just hold more personal value in them. Like, I recognize how great Lord of the Rings is, but personally, I hold Scream closer to my heart, you know what I mean?
So it wins over for nostalgia and sentimental value.
And just personal fandom, yeah.
Oh man.
It makes this it's kind of fun, you know.
I probably would take Scream 1 through 3 over Child's Play.
Yeah.
1 to 3 though for sure. Well, next is probably one you didn't see coming thrown in here. The Unbreakable Split Glass series. Which, you know, Glass, it wasn't even horrible, and then it got to like the 3rd act, and it was just sudden, and it seemed like a cheap way out. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like it was great.
The 3rd act of Glass is one of the most disappointing 3rd acts in a movie I've ever seen.
Oh yeah. And the thing was, it was not bad. It was actually being led up to be a good send off.
I couldn't believe
he dropped the ball
that they actually took. I was like,
he dropped the ball so hard.
How in the world do you make this character get drowned in a puddle?
I don't know. Dude, Unbreakable and Split were definitely better.
Yeah. And Glass wasn't bad until it got to that point. And that point was so bad that I've never rewatched Glass. And I don't know if I will. I might once again to see if it's still as bad as I thought it was the first time. I probably will at some point. But man, that was a bummer. So Lord of the Rings is going over that trilogy. And I did enjoy that trilogy for the most part.
Oh yeah. So Lord of the Rings is up 4 to 2, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so the next one I got for you is the Planet of the Apes reboot trilogy.
Or one of my favorites of all time, Planet of the Apes. It's crazy to say, dude. It's crazy that the score is this close with Lord of the Rings. This is going to make a lot of people mad. But
we still got 3 more.
I loved that damn trilogy. Like, Dawn is my favorite, but there was not a low point in it. And literally the progression.
You think there's a low point in Lord of the Rings?
No, but like the progression of just it was just tension building for 3 movies, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
And like each movie felt like its own thing, and it had the steady progression, like young, middle-aged, old. You know, like apes are getting to be, you know, sentient, like intelligent, and then apes are coexisting. They pretty much taken over, and then it's mainly apes. You know, it was just like a solid progression of movies.
And you know, we're probably going to see the downfall of the apes as the apes trilogies go. So it's like
because the humans are working their way back now. Like
crazy. Such a honestly. That concept, the Planet of the Apes concept, like watching the older ones back, like I was saying like a few months ago, it's like a criminally underrated fucking, like a concept for like a film and like a structure. It's like, it's more than just the apes on the planet and doing fucking crazy things and, you know, getting the better of humans, essentially. It's like, it's a much more layered story really than that too, because like I'm like, to see this play out is going to be awesome. Through the like 4th, 5th, and 6th one, you know, as the apes have control of everything, but they're gonna, you know, probably have their own battles, and we'll see how the hell it goes. Are they gonna make some of the same mistakes as the humans did?
Probably. Once you're the one in power, it's easy to make those mistakes.
So you're taking the Planet of the Apes reboot trilogy.
Oh yeah.
So that puts you at what?
4-3.
4-3. All right. Next up, we got the Lord of the Rings trilogy versus the Bad Boys trilogy.
Oh, man. What a bummer. Overall, I think I'm going to have to pick the Lord of the Rings, but, like, there is not much more of a, like, fun, comedy-filled, action-packed, I can just kick back and enjoy a movie type of movies than the Bad Boys movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're just such an easy watch, and they're so much fun, and there's great action scenes. It's just like, those are awesome movies, but I think I'd pick the Lord of the Rings overall.
Yeah. You think 4 was a lot of fun too?
I really liked 4.
And I definitely don't think they're done.
4 might have been my second favorite.
Yeah, it was tremendous. Would you say the second one first?
Yeah, probably. It's hard to say, but yeah, 4 was great. They got to make at least one more.
Yeah, I think they will for sure. They signed. I saw that they had signed on for 3 and 4, and then we went to go see that one. It was fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
it was so funny. So we are now 8 of them in, and that makes you at 5-3. All right, well, the Lord of the Rings versus the Star Wars original trilogy.
And I'm more of a pew pew guy. I gotta go with the Star Wars OG trilogy, man. Gotta.
Yeah.
I mean, those. You put those two up against each other, though, and a lot of people would say they're the most solid trilogies in American cinema history. Yeah. You know.
Some people might say the Godfathers.
Yeah, depending on the type of person or what the kind of movies.
Dude, fuck them.
Like,
some people shit on 3, and I like 3. Thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
he was like older.
Oh, Godfather 3.
Yeah. Fuck them.
Yeah, that's definitely the least talked about.
It's still good.
But man, yeah, the Star Wars original trilogy, like it completely changed the genre of sci-fi.
Yeah.
You know, like it changed the way movies are made. Like the style of filmmaking they used, the CGI that they used in that era, like what they were able to do, like it progressed cinema in general, you know? And it was just such a solid story too. They're both fantastic, obviously, but personally I would just go with the Star Wars OG trilogy.
That's what I come down to, because all the films in both are, pretty respected.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's an argument there. So Lord of the Rings is up 5-4 right now, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't save Star Wars for last. What's up with that? The Lord of the Rings trilogy versus the Dark Knight trilogy.
Damn, bro. I'm gonna piss so many people off any way you look at this whole list. I've already made some questionable choices in people's eyes, but that's what makes this list so personal, you know? The only true midnight showing movie I ever saw was The Dark Knight with my brother and his friends whenever I was like 11 or 12.
We
That
saw
was
some
a
of the
crazy
Star Wars
experience.
close to midnight, though.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, man, that trilogy holds a lot in sentimental value for me too, but also just Batman does in general.
Oh yeah.
Because that was like one of my childhood loves was Batman.
So you're already big time on board with that one. You saw it opening night, then obviously you saw Rises.
And I saw Batman Begins.
What did
in
you?
Theaters with my parents. I saw Rises with my mom. The week it came out.
I know we're saying we're not going to break down each individual movie, but what do you feel towards Batman Begins? How solid do you think it is? Because it's one of the lesser talked about out of that trilogy, obviously.
Haley, because I wanted to watch the trilogy with Haley, but we never got past Begins. We would have at this point I almost feel like we should rewatch it.
Yeah.
But she didn't dig Begins. She was bored by it, you know?
Really?
And
dude, the beginning was so good.
I personally, because I like Batman though, that's a big key part of it, I think. Because it is a lot of him becoming Batman and training and
I love the first
that. I loved that.
The first act, sorry. No, I was just gonna say the first act of that movie is phenomenal. Him training and Ra's al Ghul training him and just taking it hard on him, and he's just you were my, telling him he was his greatest student and everything, and fucking, there were such good scenes. That's why I don't feel like maybe it didn't have the most powerful ending over the other two, obviously, but it had.
It was a setup.
And it was and it was so good though. It was so good because he defeated Ra's and he did save the city from the fucking League of Shadows.
Yeah.
So it was tremendous. And honestly, it doesn't compared to the other two, especially the Dark Knight, obviously, and deservingly so, gets a lot of love. But Rises does too. But I do think sometimes people overlook Begins.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the overlooked one of the trilogy. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's probably to me still one of the most thoroughly solid Batman films.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I picked the Dark Knight trilogy.
Damn, so you went a clean 5-5 split. To be honest with you, I wasn't thinking about it ahead of time, but I was like, you'll probably take it over some things, but I don't know what. And I almost thought maybe for some reason that you would pick maybe 2 more over this than you did. I'm not saying I knew which ones or whatever, but I was just oh no. I was like, is he gonna? I was like, this is one of the most respected trilogies of all time.
I'm dumping on it.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I was just but then certain things started coming into my mind. And I was just the Unbreakable Split Glass one was an interesting one that I was like, well, I'll pull that one out because that's not something people always go to.
Yeah.
But I also thought that, any reasonable person is oh shit, well, Glass let you down the third act. Not a single fucking Lord of the Rings movie let you down the third act, I'll tell you that much. Mm-hmm. Or really any part of the Lord of the Rings.
That's true.
It was pretty fucking
Glass
flawless.
Was absurdly disappointing in the third act.
And these movies that have their own world, it's hard to root against how interesting the shit is. You know what I'm saying? Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. It's creating an entire, situation, put these characters in it. It's it's insane,
Yeah.
Now, so you took a good 5-5 on that one, huh? That was probably the first time ever that our category split dead even, either one of us.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll happen again in the future, but that's the first time.
Yeah.
That was just kind of crazy. There's the Lord of the Rings of all things. Alright, so my turn now, huh? For you to
I was going to say it's also based, what I put in it too, because I'm sure there's other things that, I'm like, oh, I could have played into your interest and be like, oh, this and this and this.
To
Not
try
that
to try
yeah,
it.
not that I
Yeah.
didn't, but you got to draw the
Somewhat,
line
yeah.
in some extent because there's other ones that I definitely would not have known the answer, like for sure on yours, because I know you like multiple movies within it. But as a whole, that's what's kind of interesting is it's got to work as like a whole 3 movies to put it up against something, you know.
Yeah. All right.
Dark Knight trilogy, OG, Star Wars and Lord of the Rings are excellent. Like they're fucking all of them. They're fucking magnificent.
All right. So the film trilogy that I'm gonna have you rate everything against, it's gonna be the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Oh shit! Everybody's favorite,
So
right?
Force Awakens, Return of the Jedi, Rise of Skywalker.
Last Jedi.
Yes. God damn it. The Last Jedi.
Good.
Dude, I do that shit. I feel like half the time I say those. I'll call Return of the Jedi.
That's why I
Last
said
Jedi sometimes.
They should not have put Jedi in the title again. I thought that was fucking lazy. From the get, I was like, why the fuck are they calling it The Last Jedi?
Yeah.
It
is a little bit
Return of the Jedi.
Like mentally confusing for me.
Yeah.
But I might just be a dumbass, so.
But the sequel trilogy, huh? How about that?
Alright. So the first one. Star Wars sequel trilogy. I don't actually know how you feel about these. I personally enjoy them, but I don't think you're as big on them. But Star Wars sequel trilogy or Pirates of the Caribbean.
Ooh. I haven't seen.
So
Like,
that would be.
I haven't seen
Curse of the Black Pearl, Dead Man's Chest,
and
and
At
At
World's End.
Yeah.
I've only seen At World's End like one time. That's one of the issues
That's
too.
the one I've seen the least.
But I have seen Curse of the Black Pearl and Dead Man's Chest. A lot of people cite that as like maybe the best one.
I think it's my favorite.
It's tremendous. The Star Wars sequel trilogy or Pirates of the Caribbean. Interesting.
I just had to throw them out there because I'm like, I really enjoyed these movies. I knew you probably weren't as big on them as I was, but
yeah, well,
they were fun.
I've only seen. Yeah, I was gonna say
they're kind of slow in moments, but they're fun.
I've only seen 3 and 4, I believe. I'm not even sure about 5, but I've only seen beyond 1 and 2. I've only seen the others maybe once a piece. That's the problem too with it. But I mean, I know this is just the trilogy, not those. So I have seen the original and then Dead Man's Chest. Because I've probably seen them more and I'm more familiar with them, I'd probably say the Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah.
But also keep in mind, I would have to watch them over again. Dude, I haven't even watched the Star Wars sequels in a while, like in years, as a 3, you know?
Yeah.
So I would have to do that, and I feel like the Star Wars name puts it over maybe some things and everything. I mean, it wasn't like it was completely garbage, but it's like if you're putting it up against the prequels and the originals, it will not do the damage that those ones would. You know what I mean? It will not. It's not capable of holding up to that.
It's definitely the weakest trilogy.
Yeah. So it's weird, but I really don't, because I did like Pirates of the Caribbean. I just haven't watched them a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably just more fair to say that because I'm more familiarized with them. So even watching them more times says something.
Mm-hmm.
But I do enjoy Pirates of the Caribbean, so I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to watching those again at some point.
Yeah,
I feel like every time I'm going to with somebody, like we'll get through like 1 or 2, or we'll kind of watch one. Didn't we try doing it?
Haley watched the first one, and she likes those movies, and somehow we didn't get to the other. I'm like, now I'm thinking about it again. Like when I was writing these topics, I'm like, damn, we need to watch those.
Dude, that's fucked, man. She needs to watch Batman Begins again. That was tremendous.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
I know. She didn't enjoy it. That was like pretty early on in us dating.
Yeah.
That's what's funny. And I even told her, dude, she was like trying to fuck with me with it one night because I was like, we need to watch Dark Knight again, or we need to watch Dark Knight, or we need to watch Batman Begins again. She's like, I don't know. She's like, that first one was boring.
No, it wasn't. It was so good.
She's like, Batman boring. BB.
No, he's what?
It's just to fuck with me because you knew I liked Batman.
Batman's like, he's got like better and more successful movies than any other fucking superhero, man.
Yep. All right. So 1-0 Star Wars sequels.
Oh man, I'd have to. That's rough. See, this is the rough thing about this. There's a lot of stuff that you could not see coming. That you're like, man, I'm gonna have to be honest here or say this and this.
Yep.
But I wouldn't say, like I said, this wouldn't be like a detrimental, oh, the Star Wars sequel slaughters it. It's more so because I'm like, well, I am more familiarized with them, so I definitely think I would need more
recent.
Yeah, a more viewing of the Pirates. Because I remember several years ago I did try watch. I may have watched even the first 5. Me and you got through at least some of them, but I don't know if we went past 3 or not, because I know we watched a few of them.
We watched like 2. All right, so Star Wars sequel trilogy or Austin Powers trilogy.
Oh man. Damn. Yeah, see,
Dude, that was just such a goofy
Oh yeah.
bullshit trilogy. But it was so much fun, but it was mainly like basically poking fun at those spy movies like James Bond. Was basically the point of them. But man, they were a good time. Those are like some of my childhood comedies for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched them sometimes. It had been a long time, and like I was saying earlier, I don't know if I quite remember the third one. I mean, I know I saw the other ones a number of times. I remember for a while, like, isn't that what we throw on at Cheatham's, or you always... He, like, went and bought that set, and from time to time he'd be like, oh, let's throw those on, because we hadn't thrown those on. He'd be like, no, like, when you fucking... Not
Those are
to
fun
throw it on.
times. Yeah,
They
well,
are.
we flipped them on one night before going to bed, but remember that fucking title screen? We all fell asleep, and then the disc menu came back on, and it was like, boo, 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 super fucking loud.
That's obnoxious. That happened a few times. Damn. I would probably have to say the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Yeah. 2-0. The sequels are up. He's big on them.
If you thrown even half of fucking what I threw in mine, it would probably get slaughtered.
Oh, there's gonna be some. We got some definitely repeats of this list.
Man. But yeah, for now, and like once again, that probably plays a part too. Like I watched him as a little kid, but I haven't seen him in a while, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what state of mind I'd have to be in to find him that funny.
Hot.
I'm not. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not. Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying like Mike Myers because he has talent. He's a funny guy.
Mike Myers.
He is.
I
No, he
feel like
is
Mike
for sure.
Myers is underrated.
He definitely is. But it's kind of that same thing. But I feel like in terms of, obviously once again, what the Star Wars movies represent, what they can be, I think it would put it over it just because.
Yeah.
Austin
Got that
Powers.
name value.
Austin Powers is that. I'm not saying it's not a nostalgic or a good time, like whatsoever. I'm not even. I mean, this is obviously my opinion too. I'm not saying any of that though. But I am saying I think in terms of filmmaking and movies, like the sequels were far, far from perfect, which we both agree with. But I think as a collective, I would have to say like it was more. I mean, we showed up and we saw every one of those opening nights, man.
Yeah.
All of them. So I would probably have to say that. There are a lot of things to mind you though that I probably wouldn't take over. I'm sure though.
Well,
that.
we might be getting to some.
Yeah.
All right, the Star Wars sequel trilogy, up 2-0, or Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy.
Tobey Spider-Man trilogy.
Yeah, I figured you would probably potentially take that one.
I mean, I really don't think 1 and 2 were so good, and honestly, there was even parts of 3 that were great, and like the black suit was so cool. Obviously, there was some quirkiness and some goofiness to it, and the Tobey character and everything else. Mm-hmm. But like, it was still like I don't think it pulls it down like some people do. If you look, it still got positive ratings by critics and audiences. It might have been like on the lower side for sure compared to 1 and 2, especially 2. because 2 got high ass ratings. It's still in like the 90s.
1 and 2 were both really
Yeah,
good.
they were. I think the story was better in 2, but Goblin was more of my favorite villain than Doc Ock. You know what I mean? That's what I would say. The 2 was just a perfect fucking script. It really was. You know, beginning, middle, end, everything playing out the way it did. Like Peter struggling in his relationships and being in love with Mary Jane. His friendship with Harry after, you know, he's like, oh, you stole my father's love and this and that. Him and, you know, as his Aunt May was, house was being foreclosed on. He was, you know, trying to manage being Spider-Man, and then at one point he gave it up in 2.
Yeah.
But it just, I don't know, there's a lot of strong points and stuff, and, I mean, I would probably rank that trilogy 2, 1, 3. Spider-Man's,
Probably,
you know?
yeah.
But, I would probably put it over the sequel trilogy overall.
Alright, so 2-1. Spider-Man won out. So the Star Wars sequels, or the Firefly family trilogy. So House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's
Ooh.
Rejects, and 3 from Hell.
Oh, shit. It's not
Dude,
a bad one to put.
honestly, House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects, fantastic horror movies.
They are.
And like, House of a Thousand Corpses was more kind of like crazy, like backwoods family, like, you know, horror movie. Whereas Devil's Rejects was almost like a neo-western that followed psychopaths, pretty
Yeah.
much. And they were both so good. And then
They
3
were.
from Hell was wah, 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 you know?
Yeah, like, the thing is, I've only seen that still to this day the one time.
And I don't know if I want to see it again. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I watch House and Devils every year.
Yeah, they're both fantastic for
Don't
different
know if
reasons.
I want to watch 3 from Hell again.
Yeah, they were awesome.
But are they better than the sequel trilogy?
I'm gonna have to say probably not as a trilogy.
I still truly think though that at least those 2 movies, that
Yeah.
body of work, and I'll throw in, you know, probably the first Halloween, but like those 3 movies are Rob Zombie's best work.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah, probably so. I don't know if honestly, if you really want to go down the vein of horror and what hasn't been remade in a while, there's a number of things that he could. Dude, I guarantee he'd make a
But the
badass.
horror community is such little pansies about shit.
Dude.
They're like, oh, fuck Rob Zombie. You don't need to touch shit.
Fuck them.
If
They don't
Rob
know.
Zombie's remaking anything, it's automatically going to be shit on just because it's Rob Zombie. It's the same way with Eli Roth. And that's why I support the 2 of those harder than like any director in horror, because I'm like, fuck you guys. Rob Zombie and Eli Roth, they push the boundaries. They're doing some good shit out here.
Yeah.
You
I
guys try
like
to
that.
dump on these
I
two.
like that those types of movies exist. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, you're telling me Rob Zombie wouldn't make a badass Friday the 13th movie?
Oh,
I
yeah.
guarantee he fucking would.
I think he'd make a great Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I think Eli Roth could honestly do a Hellraiser. Like, but I kind of like that Rob Zombie. Like, I want Rob Zombie and Eli Roth both, like, in their respective things, though, because they are different, but they make kind of movies that people a lot of times are like repulsed by, or like,
Yeah.
oh, what the fuck, man, that was terrible. Like, I want them two to kind of make their own stories, because I feel like their best stories so far have been their original stuff. Like, House and Devil's Rejects was just from the mind of Rob Zombie, the same way that, like,
His
Cabin
Halloween.
Fever
His
and
Halloween
Green
was
Inferno
hardcore as
was-
fuck.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it was. It was the most
It was a great horror movie.
visceral
Yeah.
of the Halloweens, for sure.
But yeah, I'd probably say that maybe as a collective.
The Star Wars sequels.
Yeah.
All right. So 3-1 Star Wars sequels so far.
Oh man.
Here we go. Number 5, Star Wars sequel trilogy or the Planet of the Apes remakes.
The Planet of the Apes reboot trilogy for sure.
Yeah. Easily.
But yeah, I mean that was
personally.
just a classic fucking retelling of Planet of the Apes in like its own way, and humans at the start. Like I really fucking enjoyed all three of those, and even the fourth one, tremendous. But as far as a trilogy, it holds up strong in every way. It's a plentiful like body of work. The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker, you can't say necessarily the same thing all the way through.
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes, I'd probably take that reboot trilogy over like a lot. Maybe not everything, but a lot.
I'd say here. That ranks very high for me when it comes to trilogies. It's very solid.
So yeah,
Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes for sure, reboots.
All
not
right.
the originals. 1 and 3 are pretty good. 2 is a fucking major letdown. But 1 was the best. 1 was probably the best out of those 5, yeah, for sure. And then I'd probably say 1.
I think I've seen 1 before, but I really would
You
like
should
to
see it
rewatch
again.
Yeah.
I'd say 1, 4, 3.
I've seen the old 1.
I'd say 1, 4, where Caesar like they start taking the shit over from the humans again on Earth, and that's such a badass one. 1, 4, 3, 2, 5. That's probably what I'd say. The villain's shit in 5. I mean,
Well, I mean, it's by the time they got to 5 in that era, it was like that was probably straight to the video store.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah.
All right, so 3-2. Star Wars sequels in the lead. Star Wars sequel trilogy or the Hangover trilogy. Different vibes for sure.
For sure. The Hangover
Both
trilogy.
stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed all those. They were all funny,
Yeah, it's kind of hard to rate like comedy trilogies next to like adventure epics, or sci-fi epics.
Kind of have to,
because-
though.
Yeah, they're still trilogies.
The movie characters, too, though.
And it's just a different genre,
Mhm.
It just depends on where you lean and what you favor. At the end of the day, people can say what all they want about things, but it's really just what you personally enjoy sitting down and watching.
Yeah. Oh, man. Ooh. It's more difficult than I thought it was going to be.
It's a tough one, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't as big on the whole trilogy of The Hangovers as probably you were. I did enjoy.
I thought they were
first
all
one a
funny.
lot. The second one,
You
wasn't bad.
laughed at all of them.
I'm sure I did, yeah. But like, it wasn't like, oh man, this is gonna be added to my rotation, kind of like movies necessarily. But again, I haven't watched even the first Hangover now in years,
Oh, yeah.
so
Me neither.
I could find more enjoyment out of them now, or I could find less. Who knows?
Yeah. I'd probably say the Star Wars sequel trilogy, maybe by a little bit, for some of the same reasons we're saying, the epicness of the, at least the feeling and, it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
Or, it was supposedly Star Wars. But,
Hey, there was still some dope
I
characters
do
in the
enjoy,
sequels.
I do really enjoy kicking back and, like, watch it, like, just a fucking goofy-ass comedy, like, the Hangovers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I do like that a lot. I'm not saying it's by a lot, by any means. But, damn, I think I'm going to have to say that again.
All right. So 4-2, Star Wars sequels. All right. So the Star Wars sequel trilogy or the X-Men trilogy, which would be X-Men,
Oh, no.
X2, and The Last Stand.
Dude, if I had seen them any time in the last 10 to 15 years, I might have a better fucking
Yeah, I guess that's
answer.
true too. It was hard because I put that on
Yeah.
my list, not thinking, because I did see them recently.
Dude, I need to watch them. I want to, especially after like seeing Deadpool and Wolverine.
And I will be honest, the first one, X-Men, I feel like a lot of people rate it higher than I do. Probably even X2. But I did enjoy X2 quite a bit, but like the X-Men movie's pretty dated in itself. I think Tyler Bane has a role in it though, in the original X-Men movie.
Oh,
But
the Michael Myers and Rob Zombie.
yeah, but X2 was it was a good movie, and The
Mhm.
Last Stand honestly was pretty damn good too. But I don't think they were the most solid of the X-Men movies. Like I enjoyed,
What do you think was?
other
Do you think
ones more.
the prequel trilogy was? First Class and like all that stuff?
I liked First Class. I liked the Wolverine. I liked Logan.
Well, it went First Class, something, and then Apocalypse.
Yeah, it was First Class, Days of Future Past.
Yeah, that's
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
Yeah.
And then there was,
Days of Future
and
Past
then
was fun, too, but
Wolverine.
confusing.
There was X-Men Origins, the Wolverine, and then Logan.
Yeah. And I honestly like the Wolverine trilogy like a lot, but that's because I like Wolverine.
Yeah, no, he's a
Yeah.
bad son of a bitch.
So he's my favorite of the X-Men anyway, so him getting
Yeah.
his own movies was like, oh well, fuck yeah.
Yeah, no, that was dope.
The Wolverine and Logan both are solid as fuck though. Like the opening like segment of the Wolverine with like the fucking atomic bombs being dropped in Japan and Logan being over there and shit when it happened,
Mhm.
that shit was wild. That almost made the Wolverine right there. I was like, oh fuck, and then later on you find out like that the Japanese soldier he saved was like the guy
Mm-hmm.
that was now he was having a fight and shit. Damn. But yeah. So just
See,
1, 2, and 3.
That kind of sucks, just because I'm like,
Which,
not that it sucks. It just kind of sucks in my situation because I'm like, if I had seen them, I would.
have a fresh.
I definitely would.
I mean,
And, like,
now, yeah.
that-
now this gives you the incentive to go back and watch. the
that's
X-Men
even
movies.
less. That's even less. Like I'm even less certain on that than I am like for my perspective for the Pirates movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's
get
tough.
that.
I'm not saying I would have, per se say because like I agree. I think Wolverine's the best X-Men. He's one of the best Marvel characters ever made,
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
Dude, he's one of my favorite superheroes.
He was, dude, and I had even seen some of that stuff.
For sure, because I'm a big Batman and Superman dude, but like Marvel side, Wolverine ranks high for me.
Whenever me and Stevens ranked our like favorite Marvel characters, just all of Marvel, all of it, and we did that like 2 years ago. I had even seen some Wolverine's movies, and like he was still like I read some of those origin comics and stuff like that, that like a family friend, Jim gave me, and like I don't know, I always kind of liked him anyway. I always like drew him like when I was into art and coloring books and all that stuff. Him and the Punisher and like Captain America and like several
I
of
like
those guys.
Ghost Rider a lot too.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, he was cool.
I think he's getting a series too.
Um,
Norman Reedus should play Ghost Rider.
But I will say, I mean, that's tough. I might have to say by default the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
And see, that's tough, and I'm not even like trying to put my overemphasis on that, but I'm obviously much more familiar with it.
And I could agree to that to a point because while I did enjoy the X-Men movies, I feel like the original trilogy wasn't some of my favorites of the series.
Did you like the Logan trilogy more?
Yeah, personally. But
You didn't like Origins?
Origins wasn't bad. Like
Deadpool.
There was still some. Yeah, Deadpool was in it. There was like still some fun to be had with that movie for sure. But I feel like I liked Wolverine and Logan more. It's hard to say. I guess I could have made that the trilogy. That could have been interesting. But,
Yeah.
all
I
right.
need to go back and watch those too. I need to watch all that side, like the X-Men side of things.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoy the X-Men side. It feels almost like the like, I don't even know the word for it, like the reject class, like kind of the outsiders, the black sheep. Because like the Avengers and Marvel kind of like took over.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the Star Wars trilogy.
Oh my God.
5-2.
Oh my God.
I believe, right? Sequel trilogy.
You got some heavy hitters against it. Well, some of those weren't like, it wasn't like by a landslide.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
we'll see what you pick here. All right, we got. Well, wait. You picked the Spider-Mans and the Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
All right, so we got the Star Wars sequel trilogy or the David Gordon Green Halloween trilogy.
Oh man.
So Halloween, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends.
Damn. Okay. Halloween Ends. Do you think that Halloween Ends is going to be more appreciated as time goes on, or like people
Yeah.
are still going to be like,
Because
"Oh,
I
that's a
think-
piece of shit"?
I personally appreciated it more on the second viewing than
Did
I
you?
did the first because the only reason I was so damn disappointed is it wasn't at all what I expected.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad, on its own, it's not a bad movie. It incorporates Michael Myers, it incorporates a new killer, like, it's an interesting take on Halloween for sure. It actually is an admirable take. Like, I can give it that.
Mhm.
But doing it to wrap up your trilogy when you've marketed it as the final showdown between Michael and Laurie, when that's really just the last 8 minutes of your movie,
Mhm.
it's like you fucking catfished everyone.
Oh yeah.
Of course people are gonna fucking be outraged by this movie. So I think it deserved the hate it got just because the marketing was a fucking lie. But I think all in all it actually was an admirable take for Halloween to take. It just was not a good way to end a trilogy.
No, I know, but we know of other series that do the same shit.
Horror does wild
And like
shit.
honestly, like I don't know, it's tough. I mean, I was super psyched when all those came out, just like we were whenever all the Star Wars sequels came out. You know what I mean? Opening night, like every time. And I'm gonna say though, by a little bit here, I think I'm gonna say David Gordon Green's Halloween series. Actually,
Really?
I think it defeats the sequels, the Star Wars sequels.
We had a lot of friendship value in those movies because like we would bring a group
We did, yeah.
every time
Oh yeah.
to go see.
Well,
it.
and we did in Star Wars too,
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like and here's what I'll say: outside of, speaking of Batman, the outside of the Dark Knight trilogy marathon that I saw opening night for that, the two best opening nights I've ever been to outside of the Dark Knight one, Dark Knight Rises, I should say, was the Force Awakens opening night and Halloween opening night in 2018. Both fucking phenomenal. Like, made the movie so much even better. And but watching that Halloween movie, and that's the thing, I felt like that watching Force Awakens, so it's hard. And I honestly enjoyed even with its perfections, but that's the thing, kills and then ends. But you could say the same thing about Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think at least by a hair, David Gordon Green's trilogy.
All right. So what do we got? 5-3.
Yep.
All right. So Halloween wins out. All right. So the Star Wars sequel trilogy, or surprisingly, it's coming back in. Unbreakable, Split, and Glass trilogy.
Oh shit. Do we agree that Glass was actually being built up pretty well until that fucking third act?
I'd have to rewatch it again, but I don't remember really having many complaints. I wasn't I was still invested in the movie. I wasn't like, man, this has been bullshit so far.
Yeah.
Until it got to the final showdown of all of them. And then it was just like, this is how you did the showdown?
It was like in a
This was
parking
supposed
lot.
to be the epic, where the three of them clashed.
Yeah.
And you fucking had one drown in a puddle, the other one just got fucking crumpled. Like, Jesus, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Oh man, that's brutal.
And Unbreakable and Split were both fucking solid movies.
They were.
So,
yeah.
I just want to talk to you.
Ah! He like broke every fucking bone of his
Fucking
body.
fell down like 3 flights.
Oh man.
Man had paper bones, but a smart as hell brain.
Damn. That's a tough one too.
Yeah.
But like, you know, and that's the thing too, is like Star Wars, as epic as it is, it also has the magnitude to like let you down because it's on such a large scale that like, you know what I mean? And, you know, M. Night
And
Shyamalan's
that's what I'll
movies.
say about the sequel trilogy, and I'm sure I've said it on here before, is I heavily enjoyed The Force Awakens. Like,
Yeah, I
I
did
thought
too.
that was a damn good Star Wars movie. But I was just let down by aspects of The Last Jedi, and I was even more let down by aspects of The Rise of Skywalker. So, and The Rise of Skywalker gave me Babu Frick, so it wasn't all bad.
Yeah.
But
There was some cool moments. I mean, Palpatine coming back was good and bad, you know?
it shouldn't have happened. Let's be real. If we're really looking at the
They
grand
shoulda went-
scheme of things, it shouldn't have.
They should have went with some of Lucas's original ideas, is what they should have done.
Ryan Johnson, you fucked the whole thing up, is what we're trying to say. By going the directions you went, fucking J.J. Abrams had to scramble and make just some fucking bullshit ass shit to try to, like, recollect what he had originally planned.
Dude, he
You
should
shouldn't
have.
have killed Snoke. He should have just been the big evil of the fucking
Yeah.
trilogy.
I thought he was gonna be.
Like,
Power!
like bringing back this fucking. He was dust. Palpatine was fucking falling apart. Hooked
A
up
new
to hooked
empire.
up to a machine in literal dust.
Yeah.
Come on. And he's got fucking 90 ships up there that fucking who knows who's manning them.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that either. Yeah, he's like, what the fuck did he say? The last order or something. The final order.
And then 14 fucking kisses. God damn, man.
Damn.
That was another one where the final showdown was a bit of a letdown.
You think? Did you think Last Jedi was better than Force Awakens?
No, Force Awakens was the best of the trilogy.
Or no.
Rise of Skywalker
did
was
you think-
probably the weakest of the
Do
trilogy.
you think Last Jedi? And that's what I mean. Like, there's parts
But
of Last Jedi that were
Babu
actually
Frick
like.
was in Rise of Skywalker.
There's parts of Last Jedi that actually were really cool,
Yeah.
but it's like, you know,
They
a
gave
lot
us
of
Luke back for a full movie, pretty much.
yeah. Except he shouldn't have been a little bitch.
He was there. He was a Force entity.
It was really cool getting that Yoda fucking cameo as a ghost, as a Force ghost though. That was
cool,
fucking
too.
dope.
Yeah. All right, what are you picking here?
I probably have to say the sequel trilogy by a hair again.
Yeah.
None of these is, I don't think it's overcoming big time, but aspects of its high with The Force Awakens and like a lot of the aspects of that put it above some of the other things. Because Unbreakable is my favorite movie out of that trilogy. But, you know, I don't know.
All right.
I would probably have to say that by a hair. Not by a lot, but by a hair.
Yeah. So the sequel trilogy is up 6-3.
Oh, man.
Spider-Man trilogy, Planet of the Apes, and David Gordon Green Halloween trilogy have surpassed it. For the final one, the Star Wars sequel trilogy or the Hobbit trilogy.
Probably the Hobbit trilogy.
It's tough to say,
It is
man,
tough.
because I did really like
I did.
Kylo, Rey, you know,
Yeah.
like BB-8. Like, there was a lot of characters that were introduced in the Star Wars sequels that I did really like.
Yeah.
But
I don't think I would
might
take.
the Hobbits too.
I wouldn't take the Hobbits over the prequels or the originals.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
But it might be over the sequels a little bit, I think. And even though it was like an extended take of, especially like by the time it got to the Battle of the Five Armies, it was still great. Like Bilbo Baggins is a great character. You got to meet and see the dwarves a lot more closely. You know, dense. Just, I mean, I think it was cool. I really enjoyed it. I do think Battle of the Five Armies is probably the weakest out of the three of those, too.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Because you could also tell that was like what they had the least runaway with, and they had to kind of extend it. Yeah. But it did have some really cool moments and everything too. I mean, I personally maybe would say An Unexpected Journey is my favorite one.
That was a really good one.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed seeing fucking
That
Gollum
was
back
also
and
like
everything.
the most, I feel like, laid back, just fun kind of.
Yeah, it was. It was the Phantom Menace in ways.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, just pop it on, you'll have a good time. For sure. I think it's got, in ways, it's got the most rewatchability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that doesn't even always mean the best one. Like, there's certain Star Wars movies I would throw on before I'd throw on Revenge of the Sith, but I like that one the most. But the emotional elements of it, like, you're not always trying to, like, sometimes you just want to watch some action and fucking, you know, throw on, like, Phantom Menace or Return of the Jedi or something like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, those are both.
Which Return of the Jedi has a lot of emotional weight to it too, at least to the third act.
That's another one for me that I've like grown to like a lot more than I originally did. I really like Return of the Jedi now. It probably does rank over 4 for me.
You think?
No, I think 5.
The third act was super strong.
Yeah.
So yeah, you said was your last one?
So you picked The Hobbit over the sequels. So
yeah, I think so.
The sequels won out 6-4, but
Damn.
The Hobbit, David Gordon Green's Halloween's, Planet of the Apes, and
Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's beat it. There you go. So 6-4 and 5-5, pretty close ones.
Pretty
tonight.
close, pretty damn close. Film trilogies, folks. I don't even know what we're at right now.
What are we at here?
103.
Break time, you think?
I think
Come
it's
back?
break time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, another edition of the new segment has commenced and been finished. And we will come back with the ever classic, the ever loved, good, the bad, and the shits. And we will see you in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and it is now time for the good, the bad, and the shits. And this tonight is our, I believe, 130th edition of the segment.
Damn. Getting deep into this segment.
Definitely. Well, let's have you start it off.
All right. Well, we are pretty deep into the Olympics at this point. I don't know. They had to have been started the last time that we did the podcast, but we were doing SummerSlam. I didn't bring them up or anything, but I've been like watching them when I get home from work, just kind of like flipping them on and turning the volume down low or on mute, having them on in the background when I read or nap or whatever. It's just kind of a cool time when the Olympics are on, I feel like, because it's just like every country kind of comes together for their country. They're like, let's go! In whatever game it is. And when people medal, it's like this big deal. And it is a huge deal. You literally can kind of like take that to the bank, then you're like, I'm the best at this in the world. I faced the top in the rest of the world at this. And I won. If you medal, it's a huge deal. But in any culture, most of the sports that are at those Olympics, it don't mean shit back home. You know what I mean? Like, when they come back, it's not like they're like living big then because they won this gold medal for the country.
You don't think it's celebrated?
I don't think that they get compensated. Some of these people are still just working regular jobs, barely scraping by. like everybody else, but it's like it's this big deal when they win when they're there, but then it doesn't really carry over necessarily. But like you can take that to the bank, like you can hang that on your shelf forever. I don't care if I won bronze in something. That's a fucking huge deal. You're like, I medaled in the goddamn Olympics in this thing. But even making it's a huge deal. Honestly, it's a big deal.
Yeah, you're one of the best in the world.
But
to even make it.
Yeah, at whatever it is that you're doing, it's like you've got to be one of the best to qualify to even be there. So to medal at it is an even bigger deal. But for most of these people, they can't really translate that into their life. It's just a big deal when they're there. That's what they dedicate their life to, though, as well, in a way. So it's like, as Olympic medalists, like, overrated or underrated? Do you feel like they... Because it is hyped when the Olympics are happening, but how many of these medalist names do you really continue to know?
Yeah. You don't really know. I mean, like, it eventually you get to know athletes, like, once they qualify over and over and over again and, like, win the gold, just, you know, score big, end up placing high, you know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's obviously a big deal every 4 years, but you don't really, you know, I feel like at a large scale, you don't see all the athletes that you see come out for the Olympics, like, at a, you know, not every day, you know what I mean? They're not as much at the forefront.
Yeah.
And I mean, like,
there's been
there is, like, you know, our team basketball that, like, a lot of people know all those players, you know?
There's like Michael Phelps, Simone
Yeah.
Biles.
Yeah.
Who's still competing.
Two of the most decorated. I don't think Phelps, is he still competing?
Oh, no.
No, I was going to say I didn't think so. But yeah, is she now the most decorated?
Yeah.
Because Phelps had an absurd amount of fucking medals.
Oh yeah, he's still the Katie Ledecky is tied, I think, for the most swimming medals, second most of all time, and she has 12. And Michael Phelps is in first, and he has 23.
Damn.
So yeah, he ran away with that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's only like a handful of them that are able to continue to make their own name for themselves. Like I know like a couple names even from these Olympics, you know, because of they're a big deal right now. But it's not like I'm gonna continue to know everybody probably because you're not gonna catch them on TV doing this unless it's the Olympics. So like, yeah, I don't know. Usain Bolt, he was another one.
Yeah.
That transcended. There's a handful of them. It's hard to say though, because man, the Olympics are so fun, and it's 2 years and 2 years. Shaun White too. Whenever like, because the Winter Olympics are every 4,
Yeah.
and the Summer Olympics are every 4, so it's like
But
two,
it's,
2
yeah,
years between.
They're 2 years
Olympics.
apart.
Which one do you like more?
I mean, the summer ones, there's just a lot more going on, I feel like.
Yeah, the Winter Olympics.
The
a lot of ice.
They're
skating,
cool,
and
but
snowboarding.
I don't think it does the same, you know,
Skiing.
kind of rating that the summer ones do. The summer ones also happen every year, like during an election year, so everybody's coming out, people feeling, you know, patriotic, and they want the U.S. team to win, you know, and it's just, like, I feel like it's just, you know, it's paired up with the election year, too, and I'm not saying that's the only reason, but it's like, it's got a different feel to it, you know what I mean? Because it's like everything happening, recycling every 4 years, you know, for us, like that. So it's just like, oh shit, like it feels huge, you know. I admittedly haven't seen a whole ton of the Olympics live. I have watched highlights and I've seen it on, like, you know, newscasts and some of the sports stuff that I watch, because they talk about it. But no, I know some of them at least, I mean, we don't really go looking for him, I wouldn't say either. Like, in between the Olympic years and stuff, you know? Oh, what's he been up to since then? But that's just kind of the way it is because there's such a, you know, a worldwide phenomenon. Like, the Olympics, get the Olympic Games, you know? Been going on for fucking ever. Since, like, early times, really, like, with all that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Well, theirs was
Olympics
more brutal.
one of the
They had, like,
oldest
fucking
games.
deaths and shit.
Yeah.
But,
Oh! He didn't make it! You
He
guys
gets
lose!
He gets stabbed with a pitchfork. It's like, what the fuck games are you guys playing?
Oh! The lion ate him! He's out!
Dude, Gladiator 2's coming out.
Yeah.
It's no Russell Crowe, though. What the fuck?
Yeah, you know, he's too old and big now.
Who's playing? Who's the main guy? I saw it on the poster, but I forgot who it was.
Is it Joaquin Phoenix in it again?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he is.
Isn't like Miles Teller in this or something too?
Who knows? Let's see here. Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal.
Oh yeah, that's who it is. Okay.
Denzel Washington.
He's in everything. Fucking Pedro.
Yeah. Denzel Washington's in it as well. That'll be interesting.
Damn. What'd you think of the original Gladiator?
Ridley Scott again. It's been a while since I've seen it. It was pretty cool though. From what I remember, I liked it.
Fucking Coliseum's still up out there.
Mm.
Be cool to go to.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Still out there. Oh, they used to hold these games of death in here.
Yeah. Like 1100 and shit.
Fucking come!
Yes. You guys want to come?
Crazy.
Come watch this shit. Just deaths. But anyway, so like, what are you? So it's the Olympic Games in general, or?
No, the Olympic medalists, like the people that actually medal in the Olympics. Do you feel like they get the credit they deserve, or? Because it's a big hype deal when it happens, but then these people come back and half of them just go back to work at whatever fucking job.
It's fair whenever they find a story that like they cling to and they're like, oh, you know, because like the last few years was Simone Biles and all that.
And she has made some money being just a gymnast because she's made sponsorships and endorsements. And
Phelps became a fucking huge star too.
Some of them do transcend, you know.
I think it's fair in terms of like what it does, but they usually almost select a story, one of their favorite stories they can piece together with the Olympics
or a
too.
Person that just
but
can't deny that just keeps winning.
Well, yeah, but also like there's a lot of attention off of like a lot of other events. You know what I mean? Because there's a shitload of events.
Yeah.
You know.
But now it's good with Peacock. You can just go to all sports and you can just watch any event you want.
I mean, I do think they're cool. I just I would probably say fair.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, they do get to kind of hang their hat on that accomplishment forever, and they do kind of get like the praise from their country for a minute, you know.
For sure.
If nothing else, like it would be nice to be able to get more, to be able to transcend. But it is still a major accomplishment, either way. Whatever medal you win, just bringing the medal home, it's like that's a pretty big damn deal, you know. What do you got for me?
Anyway, I have got. All right, well, let's take a look here. The other side of the good, the bad, and the shits tonight. Let's start off here. What do you think? of Nia Jax as the WWE Women's Champion.
Oh, Jesus.
Your favorite Jax with no marbles.
Nia Jax. Look, man, I'm not a hater.
So you love her?
No. Not by any means. But I do acknowledge that she's not a bad heel. She's doing what she's doing pretty good. People don't like her. It's working. And she's improved, I feel like, the most this run of her character ever that she ever has in WWE. Like, I feel the most believable, like, believe that this is true, you know, like that this character makes sense, that, she's just this big, mean, bitchy woman that's just taking out the roster and getting what she wants. And it's working because people are like, man, fuck her. But they already thought that. So it's like, why not run with it?
Do you think it was time to take the belt off of Bayley?
No, but yeah, I mean, if they weren't going to do anything with it anyways, it's like, she had a decent run. They tried to make it seem like it was more than it was. I knew once they showed like 112 days as champion and stuff, it's like they're just trying to show, like, make it look like she's been champion for a minute before she drops the belt, you know? Which is basically what it was. I'm like, it sucks because, dude, I freaking like Bayley too. I just feel like they always do this shit. It's like, let's put the belt on her. The fans want this, and then it happens, and then nothing. They're like, okay, now we don't know what to do. Like, the stuff with EO and Damage Control was the thing that mattered the most, and that was her pursuit for the belt. Once she won it, she had like a few defenses. But it just felt like it was time, and it felt like, Nia's definitely winning the belt here because she won Queen of the Ring. She's been on a path of destruction. They haven't done much with Bayley. And it happened. So I'm like, I'm not really angry about it. Like, I saw it kind of happening, so it's not like it really is a big surprise to me, or like a God damn it, I'm done watching kind of, you know what I mean? But like, I know a lot of people are definitely probably angry about it.
Yeah. I don't, like, that doesn't fester, like, with me. I don't really, like, I'm not gonna be that annoyed by it, but, like, I don't know. I did wonder if it was already time to cut the reign short, you know?
Yeah. I feel like it was. At this point, it's, what else were they gonna do? They haven't done anything so far. At least now you have the tension of Nia and Tiffany.
I feel like,
when is Tiffany gonna cash in? She's gonna cash in on Nia, become face.
I feel like Bayley winning was more about, you know, the moment, her having a WrestleMania moment, than it was going to be about her reign. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was almost like her winning the match in like a prominent match for the women's title was kind of the big thing. You know what I mean? Because she had never really had that like the other horsewomen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. She'll get it back at some point.
Yeah.
She'll definitely have another reign under her belt.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully it's a believable and decent one.
What do you think?
I think
Nia
it's fair.
Jax.
I honestly think it's fair. I'm like I said, I'm not bothered by it because I sort of suspected it. And sometimes you gotta have the heel go over, man. Sometimes you gotta have to piss the fans off. It progresses the story, it invests people, whether they want to admit it or not. You want to see whoever it is overcome it again. Whatever's going to happen with this storyline. Bayley's not out of the title picture now, I don't think, obviously, you know. But Tiffany, this adds the element of her and Nia, because she's been teaming with Nia recently. Now Nia's the champ on that brand, and she's got the Money in the Bank, so that's like that tension.
Mm-hmm.
I think it honestly helped add to the story for everyone. Like, it just kind of increased the story of that title.
Yeah.
It made it feel more like.
At least it felt like
watch.
there was a direction when Nia won, whereas opposed to, you know, Bayley had retained. You know, what are they going to do with her?
Yeah.
Like, are they going to keep building this?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It feels like there's more story to tell.
And Nia never really, to me, seems like she's had that reign. You know what I mean? Like that reign.
Yeah.
That just was meaningful.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would argue, oh, she don't deserve it. But I think, you know, that this could be actually pretty fun when it comes to the story sense of things. Oh, you're not going to like her, but that's the whole point, you know? So I say it's fair. I'm not too upset that she picked up the belt. I'm not like over here. If I was a Nia fan, I'd say it's underrated because a lot of people are probably already discounting it, but I feel like there's actually more story with the direction of her winning the belt. And it'll probably... There's just more mileage with this, and she might actually get to hold the belt for a minute and run through the roster and actually believably look like the monster.
For the first time, truly in a long time?
Yeah.
Maybe ever?
So yeah. Fair.
Okay.
Speaking of which, we're talking about title reigns. It kind of just jumps right into mine. What do we think of Logan Paul's run as the United States champion?
He fucking barely wrestled.
I feel like it was the opposite. I almost feel like for celebrity holding the belt or whatever, it was like he was on SmackDown.
He was. No, he was. I mean, like actual title defenses. But that's not always going to be the case.
He faced Cody for the belt, but didn't put the US one on the line. But
it was supposed to be for both belts.
And then it wasn't. Yeah.
That's stupid.
And
why even make it like that?
He put it up, man. It's hard to think now of who all he put it up on the line against this year. He won it from Ray.
Remember it, KO and Randy at Mania.
Yeah.
Triple threat. He did retain it.
Yeah. It's kind of an interesting question, though. How many times did he actually defend it?
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, he was great at playing the, you know, the heel, just piss you off. And, you know, he's Logan Paul, like they're already kind of heels anyway.
Yeah. And he's a good damn wrestler.
He
really.
He is. He's pretty clean, like, in the ring with a lot of the stuff he does. I'm sure him and Sean work on all of his shit, though.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets him ready.
Paul lost the title to LA Knight, during which he only defended the title 3 times.
The whole reign?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. See, and this is the thing. I understand the point of making him champion. You know, it draws more eyes and attention to it. You know, he doesn't have the world title, but he does have basically one of the second biggest titles you can have, you know? So, like, that helps draw eyes to the product too, having him have a title. So I understand the business side of it, doing it, you know what I mean? But I would probably still say maybe a little overrated.
Yeah.
But I understand why they did it.
I kind of enjoyed the belt.
I liked it.
Him.
Yeah.
Like, I personally thought it was fun. But it really was, like, so heelish how little he defended it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just found ways to not. He was just around on SmackDown doing shit but not putting the belt on the line.
Oh, yeah.
It's just kind of funny. I don't know though. I guess I could kind of see that though, a little bit overrated.
Maybe
because
a smidge.
it was such a sporadic amount of defenses. But man, he is fun in the ring, and I did kind of like seeing him with gold. And he's not gonna win a world title, I don't think. Not yet, not now. Maybe never. So it was like kind of a neat thing. It just would have been neat to have him defend it a couple more times, maybe. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it was heelish not to defend it that many times, but something about it just pulled it. In terms of the belt's integrity, it kind of pulled it down a little bit. But at the same time, the attention on the belt and his defenses was big because Logan Paul is like a known and followed person, you know what I mean, across the world and shit. So it's like, I understand why they did it, but I would still say it was a little. I don't think they should regret doing it, you know, because he does have a following. So. But yeah, I would say
a good
probably
business
a little bit
decision.
over. Yeah, I would definitely say maybe a smidge overrated.
Yeah, I can see that.
You gonna hit you with out of left field with one here?
Go for it.
I just thought of it. What do you? Because earlier we were eating that roll. I was just like, you're like, you ready to roll? And I was just like, do you have more?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were actually eating a roll for a second. I didn't know you're like, this bread. Steven's left this bread. But I was like, are you fucking eating a roll or are you eating bread or what the fuck? And
it's French bread.
But anyway, it just got me thinking about rolls, I guess, for a second. So, you've been to Texas Roadhouse, right?
Oh yeah.
What do you think of the cinnamon butter?
Oh yeah, dude, that shit's good.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's been a minute since I've had it, but it reminds me a lot of the cinnamon sugar toast
Yeah.
that you'd eat as a kid.
It tastes so. Just putting that on it, they taste so good. I haven't been there in a long while, and probably at least a year or two.
Yeah, that stuff, that cinnamon, cinnamon butter is damn.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just gives anything that has that flavor. It's the same thing the popcorners have, that cinnamon, and like the dots have it too, kind of, that are cinnamon sugar. It's just that cinnamon sugar taste you get like with, and it just brings me back to the nostalgia of my childhood of just like eating the fucking cinnamon sugar toast. Of like, oh, my mom would, and it's the most simple shit, but it just clicks me back to being 5, watching Dragon Tales and drinking chocolate milk.
Oh yeah.
Eating that shit.
That early 2000s version of the Power Rangers, we would sit on like Saturday mornings there for a while, like 03, 04, like think of like 04, and like just fucking watch, drink chocolate and strawberry milk and fucking, eat cinnamon, or just eat all that shit. Probably cereal too, but like, would you say cinnamon bread?
Yeah, just the cinnamon sugar like toast.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's basically what that reminds me of. It's in that kind of like ballpark with all that kind of shit. And I feel like all of that's underrated. It's just like cheap, easy, and so damn good. I need to buy some and just mix it up. It's been a minute since I've had some.
Yeah, I haven't either. But yeah, that
all it is cinnamon and sugar, and you just mix it up in a bag, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta have the proper amount. I'm worried I'm gonna have too much of one or the other. I know that's my
you
mom.
soak that motherfucker in butter and cinnamon. Ooh, I mean, it doesn't have to be like drenched, but it has to be like, a good level.
Oh yeah.
Soaked.
I mean, yeah, it's gotta be kind of coated on there. Can't be a little drizzle.
No.
Yeah, I would say that shit's underrated. It's not talked
It's
about.
so good.
You talk about the Red Lobster rolls. You
Dude,
talk about all these like appetizers with the freaking Olive Garden and their breadsticks, and what was one?
Their breadsticks are phenomenal though,
yeah,
and their salad.
Red Lobster and their Cheddar Bay biscuits and like just different things like that. you don't hear the love as much for Texas Roadhouse's cinnamon butter in the rolls, and that cinnamon butter is fucking. You can't sleep on that shit. That shit is good.
No. Oh, it's so good. Dude, I haven't been there in a minute. I'm like, man, maybe I'll just fucking pop in there by myself. I'll just sit in the booth, and I'll just go to town. Oh, man.
I might just box up my meal and eat
Yeah,
a
you
bunch
could do
of
that.
rolls and fucking cinnamon butter.
Could just get it fucking delivered. Could go pick it up.
Give me 2 of the just trays of rolls and cinnamon butter.
Yeah. All the cinnamon butter you got. So you're going to say underrated, huh?
Oh, yeah. There needs to be more like cinnamon, sugar, butter combinations out there, man. That shit fucking clog your heart but fill your soul. That's what I gotta say. There's a lot of things out there that'll clog your heart. But
Do you
fill
like
your
French
soul.
toast?
Depending on how it's made, there's some very good French toast and just some very fucking soggy shit French toast. It just depends.
Yeah. But you like French toast in general, like whenever it's made good.
Oh yeah.
You like it, you
The
enjoy it.
flavor's good.
Yeah.
Like I even like the little Eggo French toast sticks.
Oh yeah.
Those are really good.
Oh yeah. Dude, those cinnamon sticks or whatever the fuck, dipping sticks with icing that Burger King used to always have in the morning, cinnamon roll or whatever. Those motherfuckers were good. Cinnamon roll or whatever.
Cinnamon rolls are fucking.
Yeah, they were like
great.
cinnamon sticks or maybe, or I don't know, but it was with icing. Oh, uncalled.
It was
That
like
was
a cinnamon
uncalled
roll
for
stick.
good. But in reality, they did make their burgers and everything like way better, like in recent years. I mean, it's probably been a while now, but it's definitely than they used to be. You know.
Yeah.
But they're solid. Do you have anything else
Flame
you want to
broiler.
throw?
I don't think so off the top of my head.
No. Oh my god.
That's my band, you know.
Oh
I was
yeah.
prepared for 2.
I was too. No, you're good. So yeah, I guess we'll see the fallout of SummerSlam, all the shit that happened.
It'll be exciting.
So, hey, hopefully CM Punk's doing okay. You know.
Yeah, and hopefully Jacob Fatu.
I know, and Logan.
And Logan, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, SummerSlam, people go hard. I could tell Jacob Fatu was like, he was stumbling around and like kind of falling in the bear. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then he's just like, and he couldn't really get up.
It's because he's been going hard, bro. Every
Yeah.
SmackDown, it's like, Jesus. What is this guy doing? He's just doing some crazy shit up in there. He's stealing the show, but now he's hurt, so.
It's not
Be
good. They just
interesting
won the
to see how
tag
that
titles too.
Yeah, and they got this bloodline story brewing.
The other Tongaloa guy should fucking step in.
He was gonna though. That's the thing. It was gonna be 4-on-4, but now I guess it could be 3-on-3. Sammy could just keep feuding with the IC belt.
Well, how long is he gonna be out for?
I don't know. Don't know what the injury is.
Yeah, I thought it was like his leg or something.
Looks like his like ankle or knee or
Yeah,
something.
something. Damn. We'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's building to something. I don't know if Roman's going to be on screen like every week per se. I honestly, they can do this, but I think you still need to keep him off screen for
He's
a while.
not gonna be there.
You
for
know?
a minute.
Because
still.
I'll be behind it as long as it's like, if they're not going to just rush this whole process back and like actually
I feel like
build
he won't be
towards-
around until at least like Bad Blood to build the Survivor Series.
Yeah, I don't think he should be. Enough happened to where I don't think you necessarily need that element.
Yeah.
And honestly, you should announce it ahead of time. Oh, Roman's going to be on SmackDown next week, or whatever. Just anticipate the big rating. Try to get him
They
a
might
pop
do
before he
that,
comes
too,
back.
Yeah.
You about to wrap it up?
Yeah, I think I'm ready. It'll be interesting to see how these next few months play out. Bad Blood could be very, very good because there's a lot of like rivalries that are brewing into Bad Blood.
Yeah, there always was.
At this point,
Mm-hmm.
and it's getting to, and it'll be October this year. Wyatt
That's
6 will
dope.
definitely be on the card.
Oh yeah.
Like, Rhea and Liv and Dom. I think Rhea and Dom should just have a match at Bad Blood, bro. And
That'd be
Rhea
cool.
should kick his ass. And Seth and Drew and Punk. Like,
That's gonna be a triple threat at some point.
the bloodline stuff is boiling again, and could be a lot of good shit.
Yeah. Yeah, their storytelling's been pretty damn fucking good this year. I'll say that much.
Yeah, it's been a strong year.
Well,
About
it's
ready,
getting
I
late.
guess, huh?
It's getting time. Yeah. Another new edition of the segment, the film trilogies. That was a closer matchup than any of the weeks before so far.
Yeah. that
Like
was-
for
that
both
was
of
a
us,
close
like
one.
those are both really fucking tight. And we had no idea like necessarily what the main thing was going to be and what we were going to put up against it. I mean, we had both rattled off some trilogies, but we didn't know exactly what the other would choose. So,
Yeah.
interesting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been episode number 142,
Yes.
the first solo episode of the 140s.
We're Jackie Robinson plus one.
Yep, well, a big one.
Yeah.
A big one for show. So, I guess that about wraps it.
Yes, sir.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourselves in the meantime. We will see you on the next episode of Casting the Spotlight. And until then, fucking
Peace
do
be
your...
with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. May the Force be with you. And give it all hell. We'll see you next time.